Sveiki and welcome back to your irregular Latvian lesson. Why is ice hockey so popular in Latvia? Why is it more popular in Latvia than in the other Baltic states? I find this to be a very interesting question and I hope you will enjoy my approach to it. Let's go!
Disclaimer, this video is made with materials from redzi-dzirdi-latviju.lv, the Latvian archive. Links will be in the description.
First things first, domas dalās. Thoughts are split on this matter. Some people say that love for ice hockey is a leftover of Russian influence, of Soviet influence in Latvia. Of course, everybody knows we were under totalitarian rule for half a century, and during that time, not only were people imported into Latvia, but so was the culture. There was a process of Russification. The remnants of that are still felt in our society, and so these people that support this view say that ice hockey is one of those remnants. The other camps say that it's the other way around. Latvian tradition of ice hockey actually predates the Soviet Union. You know that there was an independent Latvia before there was Latvia in the Soviet Union, and our team had a place in the International Ice Hockey Federation and was participating and doing quite okay in tournaments. And actually, when the Soviets decided that they shouldn't invest in bandy anymore, which was like the previous version of ice hockey they call it Russian hockey. They actually brought Latvians in to teach the Russian bandy players how to play ice hockey because we had that experience. And the reason they wanted to play ice hockey is because it became an Olympic sport and bandy was not. Wikipedia says that the first ice hockey game in Latvia was played in 1909, so even before Latvia was independent. These are these two possible theories. But no matter how you look at it, it is clear that ice hockey in Latvia is not just a sport or a hobby, but it also serves some pretty important functions in our society. One, it is a building block of Latvia's brand as a nation and expression of our national narrative. And two, it is a way for Latvians to express our Latvian national identity. So I would argue that understanding Latvians' love for ice hockey could give you a glimpse into the depths of the Latvian soul. And this is my hypothesis that I will present to you now, and my reasoning here is influenced by two things. There's an academic article written by Ainārs Brēncis and Juris Ozols, which is available online, and it discusses the brand of Latvia, building the Latvian brand after regaining independence, and the role that hockey has in it. And the second influence is a lecture that I recently watched given by our ex-president, Vaira Freiberga, to a bunch of political students in Rīgas Tradiņu University. And she talked about the importance of national narrative and that it's everybody's responsibility to uphold it in some way, in whichever way we can. So listen to this. On ice hockey, Ozols and Brēncis write this. Let me read it to you. After regaining independence and collapse of almost all the industry, there was little left for positioning Latvia as a nation. So fanning for ice hockey was a spontaneous and very convenient way for local people to speak common language about their nation. The message to the outside world was, we are a small nation risen from the rubble, but we can be part of world's elite either as players or also as supporters. To me, this makes a lot of sense, as even during the Soviet times, from what I gather, fanning for Latvian players when they succeeded as part of the Soviet team was a way to safely express a little bit of national pride and of national identity, which was of course completely crushed by the regime that under no circumstances wanted Latvian people to feel like they were a people apart and maybe deserving of freedom. So the academic article also says that the early 90s and 2000s were a time of ice hockey euphoria in Latvia. I imagine that after regaining independence and being able to use the Latvian flag and to see the Latvian colors on ice, and just that thought of us having our own country, which was really, really emotional for a lot of people, it got channeled into the ice hockey. So it's almost kind of like ice hockey became this vehicle to express the joy that came with regaining independence. Before maybe we managed to put into words what would come later with foreign policy and positioning Latvia more and more as part of the Western countries, as aspiring to be a Western country, becoming once again a part of the International Ice Hockey Federation and starting to play among these nations as a proper nation was probably a really, really great feeling that molded together that independence, joy, and maybe just casual love for sports. So when we got reaccepted into the hockey league and also made our way up to the strongest A division, hockey then also became a vehicle to assert our not only the desire to be on the global stage, but to also prove that we can work as hard as everybody else and we can make it. We can show the world that we have what it takes to be among those nations that we have admired and dreamt about for so long. And again, I'd like to zoom back and look at hockey as maybe an expression of something wider going on, because nowadays, it's easy to forget sometimes that we were some time ago not in the EU and in NATO, but upon watching that lecture by Sveiki Freiberg, I was reminded that it was actually also like a very hard road to get there, that this lady, together with other diplomats, paved for Latvia. Kind of like our hockey team. So, full disclosure, I'm a giant fan of Sveiki Freiberg. I think that she and Zenta Mauriņa, the Latvian writer, are one of the best communicators Latvia has ever had. And so I invite you to have a listen at her speech from the 2002 NATO summit in Prague, which was the first summit that Latvia was officially invited to attend. And in that summit, she says,
"Our people have been tested in the fires of history. They have been tempered in the furnaces of suffering and injustice. They know the meaning and the value of liberty. They know that it's worth every effort to support it, to maintain it, to stand for it, and to fight for it."
I feel like the same willpower and the same desire to prove Latvia to be worthy of its place in the international community shines through also when we talk to hockey fans, because hockey really is the thing that we believe that we are great at and we have the potential to be great at. Maybe hockey is a manifestation of Latvian liberty. Is that going too far? But what I will say is that I think Latvians have projected onto hockey some of the values that we consider core to the Latvian identity, at least the ideal Latvian identity. And these values are that we are really hardworking and we will do whatever it takes to achieve the highest level of excellency, because we do value quality and we will do that even in the face of unlikely odds. Second, nothing, not even occupation and the terrors of that, will erase us. So defeats won't either. We are very good at trying again and again and again and again until we succeed. Also, third, Latvians will go to great lengths to support our own. And that might be really idealistic, because we know that Latvians can also sometimes be backstabby, and also we are known for being envious of one another, etc. But I think that hockey really brings out the best of us in this case. And deep down, I think that we do aspire to be really supportive of one another, even if we can talk about this in another video, about why we are so envious. And I think Ozols and Brancis agree with my theory, because they say being a fan of ice hockey enabled the population to show to the outside world that we as a nation are ready to be part of world elite, not only in hockey, but also, most likely, as society though, in other spheres of life. And also, Latvian fans grow and change. I think it's very significant that in 2022 Latvian fans called for Dinamo Riga, which is like the most famous club of ice hockey in Latvia, or at least used to be, to pull out of the Continental Hockey League, also known as Russian Hockey League, so following the invasion of Ukraine. Again, hockey and politics go together. Well, I mean, I think it was significant, even though Dinamo seems to have been on a downward spiral for a couple of years anyway, so it's not that popular anymore. But still, it is a gesture. And I think it's important that Latvians recognize the significance of such gestures, even if they don't seem so huge. They are. Un nu, viss. And that is my answer to the question, why ice hockey is so popular in Latvia, and maybe more popular in Latvia than in Lithuania. Although actually it would be interesting to know though why is it not so popular in other nations, because apart from less Russian influence, I can't think of another reason off the top of my head. But if you are Lithuanian and Estonian and feel like pondering on this thought, leave it in the comments, I'd be delighted to know. Thank you for watching this video or all videos about Latvian ice hockey. If you would like to watch all videos in one go, an extended version is available on Patreon. Leave a like. See you next time. Bye!